Today, LEGO sent me my very first 2021 LEGO set. It's actually a Harry Potter set, and this comes straight from Denmark, I believe. So, quite a far way away. And as usual, big thanks to LEGO for sending this, but as you'll see, that does not sway my opinion because I don't think I like this very much. I really don't. Here we go. It is a LEGO art set, and very surprising to me, I'll actually be reviewing the Harry Potter art set before I review any of the Star Wars art sets. That's actually pretty crazy. But in the US, this set's gonna cost $120, releasing on January 1st, 2021, with 4,249 pieces, with set number 31201. And the art is of the 4 separate crests for the 4 different logos or whatever of the 4 separate houses of Hogwarts. We have Gryffindor, we have Slytherin, we have Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff as well. So pretty neat as far as getting 4 different things that you can make. So you can actually buy 4 of these, which will cost you a lot of money at $480 plus tax. And then you can have all 4 of the designs at the same time, or you should be able to rebuild any one of these into any of the other 3 at any given time. But the back of the box is going to give us a good view of them even better there, as well as the ability to listen to the Harry Potter soundtrack, I believe, as you build. So let's unbox this art set. If you've never seen one unboxed, it's actually kind of neat. And while I feel like it goes without saying, yes, this is part of the 18 plus lineup for LEGO that they started in 2020. So we're just continuing on there. And by the way, the dimensions of these crests or art pieces for all of LEGO are about 16 inches by 16 inches or 40 centimeters by 40 centimeters. So just so you know how much wall space or whatever you're going to need there. But opening up the box is going to reveal the interior. And unfortunately, looks like the instruction manual got a little dislodged there, a little broken cardboard. But the instruction manual is going to show you how to build all of them. It's actually a pretty straightforward building process. Obviously, it's just going to take a while to place down all the studs. And then they're going to give you some information about the houses of Hogwarts, as well as the sorting hat there. It's kind of neat. So a lot of information contained in this instruction manual, but it's a pretty basic building process. All the studs come in separated colored bags, so you can keep them separated as you build. It makes it a lot easier. And then you have the mega brick separator, or the thick separator, as some like to call it, here in bag 1. And then if we pull this open, we're going to get all the black pieces that are going to create like the exterior of the build. And then under here, we have like a phone with some headphones to show that you can actually listen to the music. When we pull this out, it's actually its own separate packing box, which is slightly different than you'll see on most LEGO sets. You know, most LEGO sets, you open the box, you pull all the pieces out, that's kind of it. But this one does have some special packaging. You're going to get 9 of these base plate style things, big plates that are going to house all of the studs for your build, and then be able to attach externally the little black border very nicely to the exterior of it to help bring together the art piece. So that is everything included in the box. It doesn't look like anything has changed going into 2021 thus far with LEGO packaging, especially with these 18 plus Mosaic art sets, because I know they are supposedly going to be making a change from plastic to paper bags, so I was interested to see if that was going to happen here, but alas, it did not. So here's the deal with the instructions, actually. I got to the end of the build, and I realized, you know, as it goes, nice, easy build. It actually took me about 3 hours to build, just a little shy of that. So it's basically 20 minutes a square, an hour per row, or 3 hours for the whole thing if you just want to average it out. And that's a really focused building. So these can take quite a while. But at the end of the manual, you can actually get 4 of these. So you could, in theory, need 8 to have a complete collection, which is going to cost you about $960. But 4 of these here will build the ultimate like Hogwarts Crest with all 4 houses, which looks immensely better than I believe any of the 4 original ones kind of included in the pack here. Look, to be honest, like, it just doesn't look great. And the one that is the combination looks so much better in my opinion. However, the problem is, to get to this level, it's going to cost you about $500. And let's say you just want to buy a Harry Potter set. If you have $500, what do you know? You can buy the $400 Hogwarts set, or you can buy the $400 Diagon Alley set. And hey, you still got $100 left over for something like the Burrow, which is really cool. And I think unless you specifically want this, I don't know why you would buy 4 of these. I honestly don't even know why you'd buy 1 of these, because I don't find this to be particularly appealing to begin with. But hey, that's my opinion on that. We'll get to that in a second. These are the extra pieces included in the set. Obviously would be used to create the other houses. A lot of blue there for the other house, a lot of dark maroon red or whatever, a lot of gold that just isn't used for the Slytherin build that I went with in this particular case. So you end up with a lot of pieces, and to me, you know, the value of these art sets is kind of weird, right? $120, and you're paying a little bit for these extra pieces, but this is a pick-a-brick cup worth of extra pieces, so call this $10, $15, if that, worth of pieces, because studs are cheap, right? And they fill in a pick-a-brick cup. You can go to the Lego store, fill a pick-a-brick cup like this, $16, you're out the door, whatever. You basically have another pick-a-brick cup worth of studs on top, and then you have 9 base plate things and then some bricks on the outside. It just doesn't feel like $120. Don't get me wrong, especially the Star Wars ones I like, but this one I am really not vibing with any of these Hogwarts ones. Now, something I found odd is that they include kind of like a color palette thing in the set. You know, kind of artistic, whatever, maybe appeals to adults, but like I didn't understand why they needed to include this at all. I did really love the inclusion of a crowbar, which is actually used to get at like an individual stud. So like if you have a stud in the middle, hey, you can now pop it out way easier instead of having to come at it and remove a bunch of pieces to get into it. You can actually just pick out one stud and pull it out using the crowbar, which is a really neat technique for a little tool there. I didn't use it myself while building, but it is there for those that may mess up. And you have the thick separator here, which is a giant brick separator meant to pull them off 4 at a time, or if you use the other end, you can really scrape away some studs real fast if you're going to pull the build apart and basically build it into something else. Now, the back of the thing is going to have a couple of hanger pieces, so you can basically hang this on a wall if you have some nails or whatever into the wall. You're going to want something strong, because this is relatively heavy for something to go on your wall, I would say, and it's nicely plated up in the back to keep everything together. Of course, there's Technic combining it in the middle as well there, but that's how that's basically held together, with the outer frame and border built in this beautiful black color. And you can kind of see these pieces here that kind of stand out. Those are the Technic pieces that stick into the main area of it, and then all the bricks are kind of built onto that, and then of course you got to attach with those plates underneath. So really sturdy build, if you will. Like, I think these are great for like clone base building. I really want to get more for that. As far as the design for the Slytherin piece goes, I mean, you can definitely see the snake. You get a hint of green with like a quarter of the build, and then you get the Horcrux, I believe, which is supposed to be like the locket or whatever, but the Horcrux is really cool. It comes with a little necklace and everything. I think that's a nice touch to the build. And of course the serpent looks fine. You get the tongue, you have the whole tail rolling out the back there, nice curvature to it, and then you have a little Harry Potter logo down there on the bottom left. I think that's a really good looking printed logo, nice to see. And in general, I mean, I think the design looks fine. I just don't find this particularly appealing, and I certainly think if you compare it to something like the Star Wars art pieces, it's not as like, hey, you'll immediately recognize this type of thing. I mean, especially with the Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, you may struggle to get people just kind of walking by in your house or whatever to get them to recognize what the heck they're looking at. I feel like in that case, you can really spend $120 better elsewhere. Something I'd like to shoehorn into the conversation here is that there's just too much gray and white there. Like the gray really takes away from what could be a really cool like green style Slytherin mosaic, or a much more heavily red Gryffindor mosaic. And the reason for that is that they just need those gray and white pieces to reuse between the models and not have like green on Gryffindor, because you can't have that. So you can just use these neutral colors, and that's why you end up with so much gray. And I think that's what makes a lot of these not look great to me, in my opinion. I feel like that at the end of the day is what's really killing it. As far as the building experience goes though, again, I mean, you're probably gonna want to split that up over a few days. Like I said, 3 hours of intense, like just really focused building. So if you really focus, you get it done in less than 3 hours. But really, ideally for most people, I'm going to say you're going to want to split this up over at least a few days. I mean, you don't want to burn yourself out on this. And plus, all the little studs can kind of get at your thumb as you go and put them on, so you can get a little pain there, I suppose. So just be careful with that. But I mean, I don't know. I don't really love these Harry Potter art sets. I certainly wouldn't recommend it to you unless you're just a giant Harry Potter fan. I think your money can be much better spent elsewhere. I think the Star Wars art sets are way cooler than these. These aren't even like the actual shield designs for like the different houses. I just don't get it. I honestly don't myself, as a pretty decently big Harry Potter fan. I mean, I've seen all the films a few times. I've been to the Harry Potter Land and Universal. I've bought all of the newer Harry Potter sets that have come out since 2018, and I just don't get these. They don't really speak to me. So maybe that's different to you, but as far as I'm concerned, I can't sit here and recommend this. I mean, this is like a 4 out of 10 to me. I just don't like it. And certainly, if you're going to spend $480 to buy 4 of them to build the big shield that has all 4 houses, which admittedly does look nice, much better than this or either of the other 3 models you can kind of put together with this, it just doesn't make sense value-wise. That's a lot of money for basically a big piece of wall art. And I get it, art's expensive. It's kind of that type of thing. And it's certainly a product pointed towards adults that have jobs and have money to throw away at something like this, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for most people, I don't think this is a product you're going to want to go out and buy before a lot of other things, unless you're just really into it for whatever reason. Thanks, Lego. I hate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully the 2021 Harry Potter books are a bit cooler than the 2021 Harry Potter art, and they certainly are cheaper. So how's that going for it? But that's my review of the Harry Potter art set. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for more LEGO 2021 set reviews, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.